If you're a coach or consultant, this workflow will allow you to take your transcripts from your client meetings and run them through a process that'll generate a client needs summary that identifies what it is the client is looking for, what are the necessaries, the must-haves, the optional things to have, as well as potential concerns or bottlenecks, what tools they're already using, what's going on in their business that allows you to identify exactly what you need to do in order to be able to help this client. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at how this workflow actually works. So what we got to do is come over to Slack, and we have a bot set up. So I'm just going to go ahead and paste in here this phrase, go ahead and make my client needs summary. Now what I could do is I can attach the file, whether a text file or a Google Docs file. Either way, it needs to be a text file. It does not process Word docs at the moment, so unfortunately it doesn't do that. But let's go ahead and send it. And what it's going to do is, because I did not attach a file, it's actually going to come over to my Google Drive folder. And I have a folder called Client Needs Summary from Transcript. And inside of it, I have another two folders. One's called Finished Client Needs Summary and Processed Transcripts. And then I'm going to put in my text file or my Google Doc file in here. All right. And so what the bot is doing is it's pulling from this file. It's going to look for anything in here. It's going to pull it and it's going to run through this process. And I'll go through the whole process in just a second, but let's just go ahead and go back to Slack and wait for our result. Okay, and so here my bot has responded and it says my client needs summary has been completed and is ready for review and we can access it. So let's go ahead and take a look really quick. We got ourselves a Google Doc. It's properly formatted. We grabbed a client name. It didn't find any contact information because that was not included in the transcript. And I guess I can show you the transcript really quick here. So we just have a transcript of a meeting that I had with a potential client. The only name that was stated was my own. That's why it grabbed my name. But if you make sure that you say the client's name, or if you're talking to them, you're like, oh, what's your client, or what's your company name, and all that, it'll be in here. Either way, so we grabbed the transcript, we ran it through the process. It gave me this client needs summary, and it's really cool. So it's got an overview of their project, their key pain points and challenges that they're facing that's leading them to us, their desired outcomes, what tools are they currently using, what integrations do they need, what are the things that they're going to need in order to get to work. Now I have this currently set up to talk about workflows because this is a tool that I use in order to be able to build people's N8N workflows for them. So, but that's fully customizable. You're able to change that yourself. We have the must-have features and requirements of our coaching and consulting, nice-to-have features, what bottlenecks they have, the stakeholders and decision makers, the budget range that they have, timeline, urgency, other notes, and all of that. So wonderful, it worked perfectly, gave me a nice report. I can then take that report and I can send it to the client and say, hey, here's a write-up of our meeting. Please let me know if there's anything that I got wrong. And then you can work from there, or you can use that as a basis to be able to come up with your agreement or whatever it is your process is to be able to handle your clients. All right, and let me go ahead and kind of walk you through how we're going to use this workflow. Now, if you're familiar with my workflows, this should seem very familiar. It's kind of my standard workflow, my new standard workflow. It takes a message from Slack, it processes it in order to be able to find whether this is the top of a thread message or it's part of a thread. It then searches for any audio messages that get sent, because you can send an audio message rather than just a text. You can send text. It's also looking for whether any files have been attached or if you send a Google Drive link. So I could have just grabbed this link over here, just come over to share, and then copy the link. If I had done that, I would have been able to paste this in and it would have come through, it would have processed the link. It all gets put into a common spreadsheet that holds on to those links for us. It runs all that text that we sent it, whether it's voice or text, through as well. It checks to see, again, if this was the top of a thread or if it's part of a full conversation that you're having with your bot, because you can use this tool as part of a larger agentic system if you'd like. And it puts all of that information together and it kind of landmarks it here in this one node that we're able to use moving forward for the rest of our bot. All right, what we then do is we're going to go and get rows in a sheet. We are going to look for whether any of the files have been attached. If no files have been attached, it's going to return an empty string here. And if there is a file attached, it's going to go ahead and give you that row that had the file on it. And then we're going to go and figure out what to do with it. So over here, we have an if node that's going to determine or checks for whether or not that spreadsheet that we just pulled, if there was something in it, if the timestamps matched up, to a file that got uploaded, then you'd have a row, and you'd have a row called messages timestamp. If that exists, it'll go up the true branch. If not, it goes down the false branch. The true branch, all it does is it's going to download that file from our spreadsheet. It's going to extract the text from it, and then it's going to lock in that information with just the text called text here in the set field node. If you are using if you're using just a message, like I said, and you have your document in your Google Drive, then it'll go and it'll search your Google Drive. In fact, it'll search for that folder. It'll look for and find, here's my test client meeting.txt, text client meeting.txt right there. All right, it'll find it. It will, if it does not find it, we have an if, just in case, because sometimes, you forgot to put it in there. If you did not have anything in there and you didn't attach any files, we do have a fallback branch here. It's going to send you a message via Slack and then upload that information into Postgres so that the next time through, when you say, oh, I'm sorry, here's the link, then it knows that this is part of a more full conversation. It's going to understand that this isn't the first time you've spoken to it. It's going to get anything that you told it previously. All right, if it does find that folder or that file in your Google Drive, we have a quick wait here. And I have a wait, it's only 2 seconds, because if I don't have this wait here, what we had here, so from it finds the file, and then here we would download the file based on the file ID that came from the Google Drive. Unfortunately, if you don't have that wait there, it breaks. So I added it there, fixed it. So now it'll download the file from our Google Drive, pulls that whole file there. If it's a Google Doc or a text file, it'll run it through this extract file node. And I say Google Doc or text because this download file will turn Google Docs into text files. All right, and then we run it through this extract from file node set to extract from text. It's taking in data or an output data, and it's going to be just the full text. We set that with an edit field node to text, just as we did on this path. We run them through this merge node that's going to append them together. You're only going to have one branch firing at a time, usually. If you have both firing, it's only going to take the top branch, so be aware of that. I might take the bottom branch. It'll only take one of the branches. Either way, it should only pull one. You're only going to do one of these at a time. And then what it's going to do is it's going to take that text and it's going to put it into a spreadsheet called AAA Client Needs Summary Data Sheet. All right, and let me come over here. So if we come over to Finished Client Needs Summary, we have a spreadsheet called AAA Client Needs Summary Data Sheet. All right, and it's going to take that document, it's going to put it in here, and this is pretty much where we're holding all of the information that the rest of the bot is generating, so that when we are at the end of the bot, way over here, it's going to create us a single Google Doc that's nicely formatted, and so I just needed a place to be able to put all this information. All right, so we're going to go ahead and add a timestamp, the transcript ID, and it's just a timestamp of when you sent the message to this document, and nothing else gets added because we haven't written anything else. We then run it through a whole bunch of different AI agents. We're taking the transcript, we're feeding it to each and every single one of these agents, and each one is built for a specific purpose. So the first one is built for just the client name and contact details. We have project overview and main goals, the key problems and pain points, desired outcomes and success criteria, the current systems and tools that they use, requested integrations, workflows to build. Now, again, I mentioned that I built this for myself. So this is the tool that I use when I have a client meeting. Client comes to me, they meet with me, I record the meeting, I transcribe the meeting on the back end after I'm done with the meeting, I run it through here. So if you want to change this for your own particular purposes, all you got to do is come in here and change these system prompts to match whatever it is your service provides or what it is you do for the client. Or if it's not necessary, you could always just delete it. All right. We also have the must-have features and requirements of our consulting, the optional nice-to-have features, potential bottlenecks, decision makers and stakeholders that are involved in working with this client, the budget or investment range, what are they looking to spend, timeline and urgency, how quickly they want this done, additional notes if any, as well as we generate a title page. And so that's what all of these AI agents do. I'll come in really quick. The system prompts actually. This one system prompt here has a structured output, and that's simply because we're actually getting 4 pieces of data. And so we're going to get the client name, the contact email, the company name, and phone number. All of the rest of these AI agents only output one item. So there was no need to have a structured output for those. So it's just JSON.output for its particular item on the Google Sheet. So just be aware of that. But otherwise, these system prompts are all more or less the same, just the function is a little different. So it's supposed to generate HTML, and it's supposed to give you a heading first, and then a concise overview or whatever it is the function of the AI agent is. And it's all going to wrap it in HTML p tags, and it's going to then add 2 extra breaks at the end. And we add those 2 extra breaks, let me see here, so that we get this nice spacing in between in our document. If we don't add the extra breaks, then it's just like smashed together. It doesn't look so good. So I just put that in there to make it look a little nicer. All right. It's going to, they all receive the full transcript. They all have a chain of thought in order to understand what it is they're supposed to be able to do in order to generate their section. We give them some what not to do's. Usually we tell them to not write too much. We give them some examples of how to do it. And then we give them some final notes on how to do this. And specifically, it needs to output its output as an HTML structure. All right. And we do it in HTML because once all of these agents have run, they've all put their information into our spreadsheet over here. All right. Each one's going to put its own particular thing in each section here. And this one, it didn't look like it did bottlenecks, which is interesting. Oh, because I already have concerns. I guess I have an extra column there that I can get rid of before I give you guys this. But what's going to happen is every single one of these writes their section in HTML. So at the very, very end, we're going to come back here to this section. It's called Generate PDF, but it's actually just Generate Report. Go ahead and change that. I copied this from another agent that I was using. But what we're going to do is we're going to go back to that spreadsheet. We're going to pull everything out based on our transcript ID. And again, our transcript ID is just the timestamp of us requesting the agent to go ahead and make this report for us. All right, so that's how we log that. And we then limit it to the last item in the list. That way it's only dealing with the thing that just got appended to the list. It's going to take all of the different sections. It's going to put them all together just like this. All right. And they're all in HTML already, so it doesn't have to do any extra special coding or anything like that. It's just some simple code that I had ChatGPT write together for me that puts all of the different sections together. We have an edit field node here that's going to set our document name, all right, because we're going to be making a Google Doc. We're going to set the name. It's just going to be the name of the timestamp. So there's just the timestamp, client needs summary. That way, if you go into here, you're going to be able to find the timestamp and see which one it relates to, because you're going to be able to just open this up and see which client it relates to. We have the HTML content. That is the output from the code node to all of our HTML content, as well as the drive folder ID. And this is the ID number of our drive folder that we're going to be putting our finished documents into. So in order to grab that, you just come to, here's where we started. Come over to Finished Client Needs Summary, double click on that. Then come up here, and you grab this thing right here after the folders slash. Grab all of that. That's your folder ID. You put that in there, just go ahead and hard code it in. And then what it'll do is it's going to run through this code. Now, this code is really cool. I just discovered this not too long ago. I was able to put it together using Claude to be able to make some extra little special features. So if you have extra links, it'll put links in here too. So really cool. But what it does is it's going to prepare your HTML code to be able to be sent to Google Docs to be able to make a Google Doc. So instead of having to have, a docs node, here's a docs node, and we would update a doc. This is how I would normally have done it. So here I would do this, I would set my docs ID, and then we would set this to text because there's no option for anything else. And we'd set it to text, we put our text in here. Well, if I put HTML code in here, or if I did Markdown or anything like that, I'll just unhook that, it would just output it without any formatting. It doesn't look very good. So I found a way to be able to format Google Docs. I used to do this with PDFs, and hey, if I can do this with a Google Doc, even better, because now I can just export it as a PDF instead of having to worry about using some extra service. So what it does is it's going to use this HTTP node here. It's going to call this endpoint, so HTTPS www.googleapis.com/upload/drive/v3/files. Got to make sure you set up your Google Drive credentials in here. Method is post. All right. We're going to send query parameters. Upload type is multi-part. Supports all drives is set to true. Down here in body, we turn this on to raw. Our content type is multi-part / related : space boundary equals divider, and then body equals JSON.raw data. All right. If you put all of that in, it'll create your Google Doc in the Google Drive folder with all the formatting, just like that. All right. We then have an AI agent who's going to take that report ID. It's then going to structure you a response by putting together a link for you. So we add in the docs.google.com/document/d, and then here's the ID. And it's just going to send you a message saying, hey, your document is done. Here it is. So here's our example output. The client needs summary has been completed and is ready for your review. You can access the document here. Bam. It's just going to give you that link just like it did over here. All right. And it sends it via Slack. Here's our Slack node. And it's going to send it to the same timestamp that you sent your original message. And so that's how we get this to be in a thread. All right. And then you want to make sure you set up your bot credentials and all of that. And then we set it to send some information to Postgres so that we log this information in our Postgres chat memory. And just in case you want to add this part of a larger bot, this is always pretty much all the bots that I build are part of a larger agentic system that I have. And so you're getting one piece of it. And so that's why I have this here. It's just part of a chat. Make sure you set up your Postgres credentials. Insert is your operation. Schema is public. Table is whatever chat memory you have for your bot. And then over here, we have our session ID. Our session ID is our user ID that we're getting from our landmark node way over here, right up here. Okay. And then we have a colon, and then we set this other number here to be the thread timestamp that got sent from Slack. All right. So when this responded, it creates a thread timestamp. And these two together are our session IDs that are going to get pulled from this Postgres node here in case you're using a thread. All right. All right. And so what it does is we're just going to send a message type human. And that is important because when this Postgres node up here is pulling information, say you're in a thread and you're conversing with it, it's going to organize all of your messages back and forth between the bots as in chronological order first. But then it's also going to label it, this one's from the human, this one's from the bot, this one's from the human, this one's from the bot. That way, the agents that get that conversational history have the full context of who said what and in what order they said it. All right. And then all we do is we attach the message that we sent to the bot originally, so our current user message. We have a bunch of dot replaces in here in order to strip out any marks that might accidentally break our bot. And we add in our timestamp so that it gets it in chronological order. As well as we have the second Postgres node here, same setup credentials, same session ID. And here, instead of type being human, we have type being bot. Our content is going to be the message that got sent from Slack, just it could be item.json.message.text with all of the dot replaces to get rid of any extra marks that might break the upload. We have a responding to so that we know if we should go back into our logs who this bot was responding to, because if you can have different people in your Slack channel asking the bot to do things, you want to know who it's talking to. And then our timestamp, and then we have a previous conversation chain of client needs summary. And that's, again, if you want this to be part of a larger agentic system, it'll be able to know on your second and third and fourth passes what tool it's supposed to be calling, because you have an operator that's figuring out where to send it to. It'll send it to the right bot. If you'd like a copy of today's workflow, all you gotta do is go down below to the description, click the link in the description below to go join my free school community where you can get this, as well as a ton of other workflows and helpful N8N tutorials to learn how to be able to use this platform to be able to build your own workflows. And if you'd like a copy of that agentic system that I was talking about, you can join my advanced community to go and get Roger 3.0, my fully encompassing all-in-one executive assistant tool that has at least 31 different workflows attached to it that it's capable of doing social media posts, internet searches, email handling. It can take your notes for you and act on those notes in a ton of different ways. Really cool. I provide tech support. We have a great community there. I'd love to see you in the advanced community. And if you found this video helpful, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like and share the video. It really does help get this information out there to those who need it. As always, I'm Bradford Carlton. Let's automate your success together.